we're going to break. So, Biani, the stage is yours.
All right. Can you see my screen?
No, not yet.
No, we see Dr. Bookman.
Okay,
There
can
you
you see
go.
my
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. Um, one moment. Okay. So my project is on how is fluidity identified across global cultures? Okay, so my intention for the setup of this presentation is for this to be a conversational piece. So if anybody has any questions, comments, or like things that stood out to them, to just say it as we go through, that would be very helpful. Okay, so what is gender fluidity? Has anybody heard of gender fluidity? Do they have an idea what it is, or you know what it is and want to share?
It's basically where you don't really identify with anything. You can just go with the flow, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So that's my definition in a sense. Gender fluidity is a non-fixed gender identity. So you can be a male but identify as a female but identify as a male, or you can be both. So we're going to explore that moving forward. And just a blurb, gender fluidity is identified in multiple countries, generally as the third gender. And so I highlighted in Indian culture that they have their third gender, and the word for it is Hijra. Um, I quoted this from the article The Third Gender in Hijras from 2018. While the third gender includes a few different groups in South Asia, the most common are the Hijras. Hijras are often born male but look and dress in traditional feminine ways. Other Hijras are born intersex, often called transgender by outsiders. Indian society and most Hijras consider themselves to be third gender, neither male nor female, not transitioning. They are a different gender altogether. So this is, we're going to get into, hold on one moment. Okay, just to prep our video. Right here is a picture of a transgender rights advocate. I did not go into a deep research. I just wanted to highlight her. And we'll go into some other videos of just how Hydra culture is seen. Because, fun fact, Hydras are very much respected and feared in the Indian culture. They are the people that come to like the weddings and like birth celebrations to give blessing upon anything that's new. And so when they are invited, they're super excited to come. And I'll show you a video of them coming to like a baby shower. And then I was doing some research on one of the articles. It mentioned how like one of the parties, like a wedding of some sort, they were like the Hedras came and they didn't want the Hedras to come, so they called the police. And the police came, and the police was like, "Well, we're not gonna mess with the Hedras because they can give you great curse or great blessings." And so they so they ended up like not doing anything about the Hedras there. So Hedras have great power within the Indian culture, and they've been like the culture of just Hedra has been there before, like pre-colonialism. So like there's a practice of like you being um, initiated through like being seen as male and female. It's like a god or a goddess. I forgot the name. We can go into the name if anybody has questions. So does that create any type of conversation for anybody, or like um, make you curious about anything before I go to the next slide? Okay.
No, 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 no,
No, no,
no,
no.
no, no.
Okay.
Now I know there
Hmm.
is someone in the class who this is completely new information to, that you don't know that there is this concept in India. So somebody, I mean, come on, y'all. I know everybody's probably just, ready for class to be done, ready for you to move on. Try to respect the work that your colleagues are doing. I'm going to make a comment, Biani, because to tell you quite frankly, while I am aware of Hedra, what you are presenting is just fascinating to me. And this concept of third gender has made very, very clear to me in what you've presented so far that this is a very different conceptualization of gendering than what we face in the Western world. You have in your slide that these are neither male nor female, nor transitioning. It is a totally different concept of how gender is regarded in the Indian culture. And one of the things that I appreciate, Biani, about what you're doing is that global understanding is powerful. And when you don't expose yourself to how other people are going about their world, you have a tendency to be very stuck and to have this idea that the way you do it, the way you know it, is the only way there is. So, Biani, not hearing any of your classmates acknowledging that, I want to acknowledge that this is new information and very powerful information to me, especially in the concept of you saying that these are people who are very much accepted in the society, very much a part of the society, and not stigmatized at all. They are fully embraced in the society.
Can
So,
I
at any
chime in,
rate,
Dr. Bookman?
absolutely, Sonia, you and Biani and some of the others of you have really helped make this class quite enjoyable. Yes, ma'am. What would you like to say?
I had stepped away for a quick second, but I did come
Mm.
in when you were saying, when Dr. Bookman was talking. But I want to, you said that, I want you to say what you said again. Basically, like, it's two different, how you say that?
Hedra?
Yeah, I don't know about her.
Okay. So Hijra is a concept in the Indian culture identifying the third gender. And so in this blurb, I read over that while the third gender includes a few different groups in South Asia, the most common are Hijras, are often born male but look and dress in traditional feminine ways. Other Hijras are born intersex and often called transgender by outsiders. Indian society and most Hijras consider themselves to be third gender, neither male nor female, not transitioning. And so I also highlighted how within the Indian culture, they have a god or a goddess, and the goddess is both male and female. So they associate the Hydra with that god and goddess. And so they, in the culture of Indonesian culture, they go to weddings and like baby showers to give blessings upon things that are new. And so I shared a story on how like there was a party of some kind, and the people called the police to like get the Hydras out. And the police came and they were scared of the Hydras because they, in the culture, they understand that the Hydras are, their job is to give great blessing upon things that are new or curse things that are new. So that was pretty like interesting information to me.
I was gonna say that is kind of interesting. That is. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
I
I
had a
didn't know
comment.
anything about that.
Oh,
My
yeah.
comment was I actually
Mhm.
asked this question in my English class last semester because I was just confused and trying to understand how can you have pronouns of they, them, and you're one person because they is like many, like multiple people. So,
Mhm.
and I asked my teacher that, she was like, well, that's actually a fault in our language system because we don't have like something to say that you're not like a boy or girl or whatever. So then
Mm-hmm.
he's told me that it was in different cultures. So this is good for me to, put a name to the culture that
Mm-hmm.
it's India that does that. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it could better help me understand why people choose to go by they, them, or use those pronouns. So
Right.
It,
Like the
it,
English language culture. Go ahead.
I was asking, was that Brooklyn? Was that Brooklyn
Um,
speaking?
Yeah,
yeah, it's me. It's Brooklyn Williams. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
me.
So you popped up on my screen. I just want to make sure. Thank you, Brooklyn. Especially thank you for talking about the fact that you were able to deal with it in the English concept. And that was wonderful because, yes, your teacher was correct in helping you get better understanding that it is simply a limitation in our language. And so in
Mm-hmm.
India, when one speaks of Hydra using the word that their language permits, they able to understand exactly what it is. So thank you for adding that to the understanding and the conversation as well. And I'm very glad that you were able to ask that in your English class.
Yeah, because I'm like, when they first came about and I was just rolling with it, but I didn't understand, like, what are we talking about right now? I didn't want to be offending nobody, so I just went with it. But this is good to actually understand, why. Yeah.
All righty. Thank you so much.
Right.
Go
So
on,
we're gonna
Bianca.
just to connect to that language thing. In North American indigenous culture tribes specifically, so right here in America, they have a word called two-spirited, where they identify the same concept of Hydra, where like the men dressed as women or the women dressed as men. And so I'm gonna read this blurb for you all. The concept of two-spirit folks existed well before the arrival of European settlers on Turtle Island. Indigenous individuals who identified as two-spirit folks were seen as gifted and honored in their community because they carried two spirits with them, both male and female. The two-spirited folks were often the healers, medicine people, and visionaries within their given community, and they were the foundational members of the culture. And this was written by Thress in 2022. And so in some North American indigenous cultures, they call it two-spirited. And then there's another word for it. However, I was not able to pronounce it. So I just was like, okay, maybe I'm not going to put that word in there. But there's like a language word, and it's spelled, I could pull it up on my Google Docs. Hold on. No, I'm not.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm gonna just keep focused. Just note that there is another word that other North American indigenous, I think I spelled that wrong. Anyway, that
indigenous. Thank you for noticing that, Biani. Yes, you did. It's called indigenous. You see, it's correct in your piece down here at the bottom, but it's wrong in your title. But it's called indigenous. So thank you also for that concept. I'm assuming the word two-spirited is the native translation of the word that you were saying that you weren't able to.
yes.
Yeah,
Mm,
but we can use the word two-spirited, and that could be sufficient for us to be able to know what you're talking about. So thank you again.
correct. And
I
yeah, so
have something. Oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead, go ahead.
So, I wanted to make a connection between the Hydras and Two Spirited. How in the Hydras, they have the power to curse people or bless people, and Two Spirited, it's both a spiritual thing and has to do with energy and the ability to go from masculine to feminine. So, and when you have the ability to go from masculine to feminine or feminine to masculine, and have it be brought out in a way that is different from like the norm, I think it's more of a spiritual thing that has to do with it. Yeah, I don't think I'm explaining
right.
myself correctly. But yeah, that's what I noticed.
You're on the head with that because like when the other ones, the next slide I'm gonna show you, it's the same type of theme, and this is universal. Like these tribes don't know each other. This is North America to Indonesian, but however they, like you said, they all have like this spiritual kind of theme to it. And I'm gonna talk about that towards the end. How like gender fluidity talks about like the laws of the universe on like how everyone has a male and a masculine and feminine energy within them, and how is it expressed is very unique to you. Okay. So Mex or Musha, okay, in Zapotec culture within the southern part of Mexico, in Zapotec culture of southern Mexico, Mexes are a third gender that includes individuals who identify as a mix of male and female or something completely different. The term Mex comes from the Spanish word for woman, mujer. And this was right 2023. And so here as well, they are the people that bless the new beginnings. They are usually doing a lot of partying, and like what I saw in my research is they do a lot of like celebration type of things. Like they do the cooking and cleaning, like they help out a lot, and they're kind of like the wise people within their culture. So let me see. One moment. I think I want to go ahead and show you all the hijras in their culture and just show you them at a party. Okay. And let me make sure can y'all still see?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to just play this quick little clip. Okay.
I can't hear anything.
Oop, one moment. Let me share my sound. Okay.
In India, Hijra have a recorded history of more than 4,000 years. Royal courts held them in high regard, and sacred Hindu texts describe them in bright sari and delicate jewelry, bestowing them with special powers to bring luck and fertility.
The Hijras are considered to be an incarnation, another form of Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva, and Lord Shakti. So every new thing that happens, a transgender is there.
These revered Hijra traditions do continue, and some of Dana's friends have invited us to see the Hijra offer a blessing.
Newly married couple goes first to a transgender, get their blessings, and start their life. A newborn baby is first given to a transgender, and the baby is being blessed.
The community of women greet our arrival and have put on their nicest saris for the occasion. I can't wait to see it all.
They do some rituals to bless the child.
At first, the baby isn't as welcoming to his new guest. But soon he is mesmerized by the magical dance and song of the Hijra deities. Good fortune has arrived.
The words that they're saying in the song.
May God bless the child and let the child live for 100 years healthy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Though despite their special place in Indian culture and history, Hijra have been pushed to the fringes and have not received the same civil rights as men and women.
The minute the family realizes that this person is not of a regular gender, they probably beg that human being, please leave.
Because it brings shame on the family.
Shame on the family. And when you don't have education, you can't work. That's the reason they're involved in heavy sex trade, heavy prostitution.
Rejected by their families and society, many turn to prostitution and begging as their only means to survive. They're refused jobs, ostracized, criminalized, and even sexually assaulted on the street.
நான் பையன் இல்லை பொண்ணு அப்படின்னு சொல்லி பொண்ணானதுக்கப்புறம் எல்லாருமே என்ன பாசமாக பார்க்கல. என் ஃபேமிலி, கவர்மெண்ட் அண்ட் சொசைட்டி யாருமே எங்களை வந்து ஏற்றுக்கிறது இல்லை.
I never used to behave like a guy. I used to help my mom in the kitchen, help her in cooking.
Did you feel comfortable talking to your family about the way that you felt?
Well, they didn't accept me. They want me as a son, not as a daughter. It's been now 6 years. I'm out of my family altogether. I was really scared, but I had no choice.
How did you find your courage?
The passion to become a female made my mind strong.
Dana is now trying to put the past behind her and embracing her new identity. She invited me to stop by her local garment shop, where the choice of fabric allows women to create their look from a variety of colors and textures.
It was well on the white t-shirt, yeah?
Yeah. The history of the sari is traced back thousands of years to the western part of India. The word sari
Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Is there any comments or questions about the video? I know I'm on a certain time frame. Did y'all want to finish it or y'all want to keep going in the presentation?
I want to say something.
Okay.
That was very sad to me.
I agree with Dr. Bookman. That was sad.
It's going to be interesting. And we may not have enough time to do it today, and you may not even have done it as part of your presentation. That one to me was sad because, and maybe it shouldn't have been particularly sad, because we did see an acceptance within at least some aspects of society, but at least what you showed us lets us know that it's not totally accepted, that there's still shame with it, there's still ostracizing with it. And I'm wondering if that also happens in the two other ones that you talked about, the Southern Mexico and the Two-Spirited. I'm wondering, and this would be part of additional research if someone decided to do additional research, unless you already have it. Are there also shaming aspects of being two-spirited in the North American indigenous society? So that would be my comment.
Yeah. It is there. From the research that I've seen and the videos that I've watched, they're still fighting the shame part. Like, there's societies and parts of it that's still not accepted. But I want to say, however, that was the thing for Black people. Like, at one point we weren't accepted within the society, and we had to literally keep advocating for ourselves. And so I think with colonization, because that was the thing, like, colonization changed the way that gender fluidity was viewed within these ancient cultures, like Indonesia, the Hispanic culture. Like, when colonization came into play, like the first account, they wrote something like, it's like a really offensive term that they use to describe like what they were seeing. And these were people that came from the outside to judge what was going on with another people. So we are in a colonized culture. So of course, like, it's a lot of shame between on something that's been there before. It even had words to it. So I think with just like having the story of like, okay, this is what it was before colonization, this is how we viewed it, start to come back to the surface, we can start changing the narrative on how we see third gender, Hydra, Two-Spirit, etc. Because I like this blurb that I wrote, I want to share it with you all. Like, I noted that, like, the law of the universe, there's always a masculine and feminine principle, and how we express it, like I said, is always unique to us. And I'm gonna just read this real quick. Gender fluidity relates to identity, part of the class colonialism. Okay, hold on. I theorize that gender fluidity is on a scale of expression. All people are born with masculine and feminine energy that describes their behavior. To express it, it is being gender fluid on a very light level, and to dress as it is a medium level, and to physically change your body is a high level of expressing it. If that person's consciousness is comfortable with a high level of gender fluidity by changing their physical body, it is no different from a person expressing masculine and feminine energy through their behavior. Like, you'll see, like, sometimes women can be more masculine if they're working, or if a man can be more feminine if they're relaxed, or some as perceived to be, you know. The law of the universe suggests that all things have masculine and feminine components. It does not specifically say how much of a masculine or feminine energy one might express if they are in a male or female body. Knowing all women do not enjoy pink, and knowing all men do not enjoy blue, or anything we have assumed with gender identification. However, we have consistently seen that feminine and masculine traits have always shown up on a scale that changes. For instance, a woman can wear a dress one day and pants another, or a man can wear pants one day and dress another. Or he or she may express nurturing characteristics to one person and aggressive characteristics to another. That can be described as masculine or feminine. We also want to take time to acknowledge that over time, clothing has been used to define your gender, when in fact it wasn't true. In some cultures, men wear ceremonial skits or robes, and they weren't defined as gay. Or for instance, women wore pants when they started to work in factories, and all women were not lesbians. With time, the meaning of clothes you wear to express yourself has changed to more non-conforming ideas that your gender has to be male or female. The truth is, expresses their masculine and feminine in different ways. There's no wrong or right ways to do this. However, it is unjust for media and influences to cause confusion and self-doubt about the way one chooses to express their energy. Gender fluid people were the most recent ones to get excommunicated from the church and AKA burned at the stake. And we've seen that same type of behavior when people was like, okay, well, I want to go against Christianity. I don't want to believe in that. Burned at the stake, excommunicated. Oh, you Black. We don't like you. Burned at the stake, excommunicated. Like, we've seen that through colonized based culture. So, like I said, media has an influence, and I feel like it's unjust for them to create confusion around what's already natural.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
it.
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
thank you. What a wonderful day. And we've ended. No, seriously, I'm loving it.